Hey everyone, it's Troy Jackson with this week's weekly update. Like I said last week, a really hectic time right now. Appropriations Committee working on the budget. Some of the things that obviously are really important in there is trying to get money out to people and relief checks.
Governor Mills is proposing to increase the direct relief funding plan for Mainers due to inflation.
Trying to make sure that nursing homes get funding, much like other discussions that I've had with you about the Caribou and Machias Veterans Homes. Our nursing homes have been having a hard time to keep up with staffing issues and things like that, and so making sure that we do what we can for those facilities is really important. Make sure we have places for our senior citizens to stay is obviously hugely important. We're in a time of real problems with energy. I've spoken a bunch about that. We've got a bunch of bills that we're getting through the process right now to help with LIHEAP funding, to try and help small business owners with their high energy costs. Talked about the transmission line in Worcester County to try and get us off the reliance of national foreign oil, $5 a gallon prices that we're paying. I mean, we're going to have to transition so we're less reliant, and some of these projects clearly could make a huge difference in Maine, not just in the lower costs that we could be paying, but obviously in the work that it would create. So this week I really wanted to talk about our heritage industries, which are so important to the people across the state and was really the backbone for years and still is. Representative Stover had a bill to help the lobster industry out with all the problems that they're having with right whales, things that the federal government's coming down on them to change.
Representative Holly Stover is asking the legislature to create a $30 million emergency fund to help cover lost incomes and new expenses of meeting the rules.
Representative Billy Bob Fockingham, a Republican colleague of mine, bill I worked on with him, created a legal defense fund. I mean, clearly, I'm not in the lobster industry, but I've understood it more being in this building. And a lot of the unfairness that I feel in the logging industry, I see the same patterns in the lobster industry. And so, the way that you build consensus in all these issues is trying to understand the problems that other people are having in their industries, and that's why I've been very happy to support Representative Fockingham and his fight on that deal also. Jeremy Pelletier from Frenchville, Maine, a young farmer, asked me early on to come out and see his fields when he was having real problems with drought conditions in Aroostook County. One of the bills that we just voted on is my bill to create a fund for irrigation, not just for potato farmers, but for all farmers. Senator Dill had a bill on PFAS, which is a major challenge across the state. I think we're just barely finding out, to what extent this is a problem. And Senator Dill's bill does a lot besides creating funding for some of the problems that some of these farmers are having. So I was happy to support that. On the forest products industry side, we passed a bill. It was a lot like one I had in the past that we weren't able to actually get across the line, but this time we did, which is great. It creates a program for biomass to use wood energy. Where I'm from, waste wood that we have trouble with or low grade, being able to turn that into energy would be a big deal. Another reason why we really need that transmission line out of Aroostook County is so that we can put not only solar and wind, but biomass energy out across other parts of the state and other parts of New England. Two other bills that will be coming up. One is Dr. Richard Evans. He's got a bill on taxation coming out to give training credits to logging businesses. And this has become a really hot issue. You'd think that it would be something that would be easy for us to get behind, but unfortunately, the Professional Logging Contractors Maine decided that only companies with 3 or more employees should get this tax credit. Dr. Evans, to his credit, understood that people that are sole operators sometimes hire on new people. In my industry, across St. John Valley, a lot of guys are owner operators of trucks, or maybe a fellow buncher or a grapple skidder, and they get to hire somebody else to work with them. Happens a lot, so you're only maybe a 2-person business. Those people, small businesses like that, shouldn't get cut out of having a training credit, and that's really what we've come down to in this unfortunate fight. But this is something I'm looking forward to pushing across the line so that every small business owner in the logging industry that needs to train somebody is able to get this credit. And then the last bill actually is mine, and this bill creates a logging dispute board, and the same unfortunate problem. Professional logging contractors, they don't want to lose what power they think they have, and tried to turn this into an employee contractor bill. It was never designed for that. I mean, I wrote the bill. It was always a bill for contractors to have a place to go when large landowners are squeezing them. And loggers and truckers will understand. But when you can't get paid the rate you were told and your wood has been hauled, like the 14-day rule, when your wood is sit for months on end and you don't get the rate you were supposed to, many of us can't afford to hire a lawyer, can't afford to take a large landowner to court. This logging dispute board would be a place where the contractor could actually go and have a dispute heard, where there's a neutral arbitrator that would then decide. And the unfortunate thing about it is, I think the PLC wanted to be the business that was the actual other person on the other side, and I refused to write them into the bill because, to be quite blunt, every time we're down here and the landowners are in a room, the PLC is never willing to talk about the actual rates, which is the problem in the industry. I mean, there's a lot of things we nibble around the edges, but loggers and truckers in this state are not getting paid a fair rate for their work. And the only way that's actually going to ever happen if we talk about it. So this is a bill that is going to be very hot. You're probably going to be hearing about it. I represent a logging community. I fought for loggers my whole life, and I know what the hell I'm talking about. Small people should have a chance to go to a place and be able to argue their case without having to pay thousands and thousands of dollars and actually really put a target on their back with the large landowners. So I'm hopeful that people that understand what it's really like will push back against the unfortunate thing that a logging organization is actually fighting against a bill that's actually designed to help logging contractors. But that being said, we'll have that discussion, and I look forward to the debate about how everyday people should have a place, should have a ability to argue for the things that are important to them, not organizations or large landowners just trying to make sure that they keep their thumb on the small contractors in this state. So with that, thank you. Look forward to talking to you next week, and take care, everyone.